Hello, everyone. My name is Joe Salemi with DynaSCAPE Software, and today we're talking the third installment of our Manage360 Masterclass. And the whole idea of the Masterclass series is to help you get the most out of your landscape business operating system, Manage360. And so we've engaged our implementation and training specialists, both Fabio Ronconi and Jordan Weir, to share with you what they do on a very regular basis when clients like you are just starting up, but instead we've developed this training program to really dive into very specific sections inside of Manage360 so that then you can, on sessions like today, follow along with us, but later on also access the recording so that you can refer back to them at your leisure. And so today, we're focusing on construction change orders and their best practices and every little detail that goes along with that and what works best. And so today we're going to talk, just before we get started, we're going to talk about some of the top 5 reasons why you would even do a change order. And we all know that there's not one single construction job that occurs without some kind of change, whether it's quantity, whether you're substituting materials or something like that, or even bigger in some cases where they're adding on entire new features of a landscape project, so or removing, so top 5 reasons for doing a change order. Number 1, customer initiated. They either would like something, would like to remove something, would like more of something or less of something, different type of something. So customer initiated, contractor suggested. So you would recommend a change. If something's just not working out the way that you thought it would, or the customer's not reacting to something as well as you thought they might, you're going to have a contractor suggested change. Something that's unforeseen or unseen within the conditions of the project or the site itself. It could be, you start excavation work, demo and excavation, and you start excavating, and all of a sudden you find an incredible amount of buried construction debris from the build out of the house. Well, now you've got a significant amount of additional time that you're now invested or going to have to invest in order to clear out that material to build a solid base. And you have to go back to the client for a change order for the amount of time that it's going to take and the removal of that debris. So unforeseen or unseen conditions, errors and omissions in plans, some things you just didn't account for or just might have got wrong. So need a change order for that. Not all change orders have an effect on the price of the contract. So in some cases, if there's an omission on your part, you may not make the client absorb that cost. In some cases, you might. And another reason for a change order, after an inspection, you may have to make some changes. So you may have to go back to the client and make some changes that way as well. So I think this is a real good point to dive in. Fabio, I have you on the line with us here.
Yes, you do.
Right on. Thanks for joining us, and I'll let you take it away and dive into best practices for construction change orders.
All right. Thanks. Thanks very much. Let me do this over here. So, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Joe, for the introduction there for the change orders. So basically, like Joe was saying, and kind of at a high level, the change orders allow you to make adjustments to a contract that's currently in progress. Now, the current contract, we can affect any price. So we can affect quantity-wise. We can affect the price of an item. We can affect the different items as well. that we have to change. So when we do a change order in Manage on a construction job, the change order allows these things to be adjusted. Along with that, the job actuals are going to be changed potentially as well on that. The job actuals, the billing can be affected. Like Joe's saying, some of them may not be billable, but the billing will be affected as well on there. And potentially the analysis tab. Because again, when it flows through to the job actuals, the analysis tab will show that as well. Maybe we now, our revenue is higher, we have more costs on there as well, more time. So all these things, an approval of a change order affects billing, job actuals, and the analysis tab. So we'll go into all the different kind of parts that get affected and then how they're affected on there as well. Now, the change orders themselves, so right now I have a job open. I have a sample job here. It's open. It's already been won. It's an ongoing job. We may have some previous timesheets already approved. So in the job itself, the main job action, the main change order section is in the contracts tab. The contracts are where I can, number one, see the change orders, and number two, create new ones, remove existing ones if I don't need them anymore, if they're not approved yet, and adjust any ones that are still pending as well. So if I go to the contracts tab, this is where the change order process starts for all of them. They go to here. This is where I can start them. This is where I approve them. This is where I can edit them as well on there. Now, I did mention the approval process, and we'll talk about that as well. But the change orders themselves, when I do a change order, I can create it, I can save it. That's fine. That change order is not going to affect the job actuals, not going to affect the current contract. It's not going to affect anything until I approve the change order. So the change orders do require approval so that they can show what has been altered. If they're not approved, they can still be listed here, but they're not going to be changing the current contract that's in there. Now, the contracts tab itself. So on a job that does not have any change orders yet on there, so again, see here, there is the current contract that's listed. So all you can see essentially is the current contract. Basically, this is exactly the same as the estimate that was won. Same work area groupings that you have on the estimate, same kits that you have on the estimate, everything the same totals as on the estimate. There's no change orders on here, so this is exactly the same as well. Now, there's a new change order button. Here's, well, this is where the process starts. There is an actions button here. You can see, again, if you're used to it, there's an action, the job itself has a main actions button. That's for this job specifically. The change order, the contracts tab, it has its own actions button. This actions button is really, it's only available when I am where I'm viewing a change order. I can't do it for the current contract. It's specifically for change orders as well. So the change order process starts here. Now, in the contracts tab, I can see I don't have anything exists with the current contract. So to start the process off, I click on the new change order button. So this is where we start the change order process itself. So again, like other parts of Manage, when I click the new change order button, it is going to open up a new screen where I can start entering details specific for this change order. Now, it's itself, the change order itself, change request for this job, it's broken up into several sections on there as well. And again, they can all be collapsed as you need them. It's pretty straightforward and simple to do. It makes it easy to focus on what you're doing here. So I'll just do a quick review of the sections. The header information here, this is a description of the change order number. So the requested by, so this is who requested the change. These are people that are primary contacts there, but if there are other contacts on this job, then I can choose them in this requested by dropdown as well. Who made this? This is, I'm logged in as this person. That's who made the change order there. The creation date, I clicked on it today. That's when it date defaults. The status, like we talked before, there's two statuses for change orders, pending and approved. We haven't even saved this change order yet, so it is still pending. The completion date is a text field that can be used once it's done. If you want to enter that data in, you can click on it and it's just a date picker. Now, the description. The description of the change order, again, it's not required, but it does make it much more doesn't make it much more useful when you're looking for specific items on there, or specific change orders. You don't need to try and figure out what the change order was. If you give them a good name, it doesn't have to be super long, but a descriptive name, kind of summarizing the work. Manage will add the date to it, so you kind of tell by the date, but having a nice description there will, again, down the line, if you have a job with 10, 15, 25 change orders, even 6 or 7, knowing what the change orders are without having to open them up makes it a lot more efficient when you're looking for stuff as well. Now, the numbering, quickly, like I said, it just basically uses the job number as the base and simply starts appending point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4 as we're going through on there. So there's nothing to change in there as well. That's the header section. Now, change request notes, internal. These are just kind of similar to the opportunity notes that are in the main opportunity itself. They're internal, just specific to this change order. Just a big text box. You can use it here if you'd like. It's, again, only for this change order. Now, there is crew notes. So the crew notes here, again, similar to the job, similar to the estimate. These are crew instructions that it can be specific for this change order. Now, if the change order is just making some minor changes to what's there, this may not be relevant, which is fine. You can just collapse it. But if the change order is for we're doing some additional work on top of what we're doing already, we're adding another section, we're adding another planting bed in a different part of the yard, and I want to have some specific instructions for that, I can put it into the crew notes. So these crew notes, crew instructions can be seen on the work order report, which we generate as well. Now, change order notes. So these ones are, again, this is more on a customer-centric, customer-facing information that we can use here. If I put notes in here, if I put text in here, this can be like a summary of we are going to be changing X, Y, and Z based on this change order. I can put them into here, and then when I go to generate the document for the client to get sign off, I can choose to show these or not. And this is, again, like I said, this is more of a customer-centric thing. Now, depending on the report, I'll show you how this looks like on the report as well. But again, all of these fields can obviously be edited after the fact. If you're just starting the process, you can do a couple things and come back and edit them as you need them as well. Now, there is changing change order to terms and conditions. If you want to put them in here, you can. Again, it is a big text area, but if you don't want to have them listed here, you don't have to. You can cut and paste into here if you want to put them here as well. And now we do have an additional option, which I'll show you later, which is as far as the proposal, printing it out goes, which we can actually use our proposal headers and footers that we already have in there as well for that. Now, in the change request item, so I'll touch on that one really quickly because we're going to come back to this one. This is where the meat of the change happens in here. Like I said, I'm adding new items. I'm deleting things I don't need. I'm making a substitution. I'm changing the quantity of items as well. I'm adjusting the price. I'm adjusting once I put. I'm changing. This is like very, very similar to when you're doing the estimate creation. There's a lot of the same functionality, a lot of the same look and feel. So that's when we'll come back to that and do a few of the options that we have. The last one here is payment options. Again, like the estimate, how will this particular change order be billed? Again, do milestone billing, and if we do milestone, I can then choose the milestone options that I would like to use here as well. Or I can do percentage of completion, and then basically as it's complete, I can bill parts of it as well. But you can choose, and again, if you want to, you can adjust these payments, even though it says 50-50 here, you can adjust it here as well, just like with the estimate, the exact same functionality on there as well for that. Now, I'll collapse that one as well. There's save and close. Again, similar kind of functionality we have. Now, in this section here, in the items section of the change order, how do I get things on here? What changes am I making? Basically, there's 4 distinct options: add new items, deletion of items, substitution, and quantity change. So each of those work in a slightly different way. The biggest differentiator is between add new items and the rest. Add new items is and essentially like doing a little mini estimate inside of the change order. I'm adding something brand new that's not already there, or I could be adding an entirely new work area as well. So that's what the add new items, all new stuff. It's not things that are already on there that I'm adjusting. It is all new things as well. So like I said, that one is very, very much like I'm doing a little estimate inside of this job. The other three, again, while they're obviously they have different functions, deleting, substituting, change quantity, the other three all work on items that are already in the current contract. So I want to delete something that's in the current contract. I use a delete function. Now the delete does a full delete. It's a full removal of a particular item or a particular kit or a particular work area. It's not, again, it's not a quantity adjustment. It's a strict deletion of an item. Substitution. That is, again, I want to substitute something for something else. And basically, at its heart, the substitution is a deletion first, and then it'll go right into the addition. So it's doing a deletion addition in one step on there as well. Now, something to note on the substitution as well, just you want to be aware of what you're substituting, because Manage will let you, and it doesn't know what you're deleting. It just will let you add in whatever you'd like. So ideally, when you're substituting a plant for a different plant or one stone for a different type of stone, you're aware of what you're doing on there as well, because it doesn't restrict you from any particular substitutions. And I'll show you what that looks like as well. And finally, change quantity, which is exactly that. It's something that's already there. I want to have either more or less of it. Now that can be an item, or that can be a kit as well. You can adjust the entire kit quantity, or you can adjust the quantity of an individual item itself on there. So if I go into add, so I want to do add new items. I'll go ahead and you can see how they all work. Like I said, this one, fairly straightforward. Here's the new item here. Add items to change. And again, like I said, if you built a kit or if you've done any estimation, this looks really pretty much the same on there as well. To add, so instead of add items, that's when I'm adding items to the change order. It uses the same kind of work style where I have a shopping cart here where I can add them into here before they finally get to the change order. So I would eventually, when they're here, I can add one thing at a time. I can add several. Once I'm ready to put them on the change order, I click here, onto the change order they go. Now, again, kits. I have full access to everything in my cost book that I would like to use. I can choose any of these things in here. Same searching, same filtering, all the same functionality as when I'm doing an estimate. So if I want to do bed prep with topsoil and mulch, okay, we're going to do a new bed, for example. Click on the kit. Again, same thing, kit comes up. What is the quantity I would like for this kit? What is the lead item? Like I said, all things that you guys are used to already. We're going to do a 300 square foot bed in the back. Now, lead item, again, I can adjust this afterwards as well. We want some mulch, hardwood mulch. Now, this is where, when I'm adding net new items onto the change order, if it's a small enough thing, if it's just going into an existing work area, that's fine. You can definitely put it into an existing work area. And both work areas are here. However, if it's something that you want to be able to track separately, or just be able to even, like when you're looking at the profitability of this job, for example, if you want to be able to look at it more specifically, that's where you can create its own work area. Just like when you're estimating, you can make its own work area. So again, I have the exact same functionality here. I can click on the green plus and I can add if I use the right buttons, it'll, and I'll be able to adjust that afterwards as well. You can do that for the change. Like I said, you can change it this way by doing it in its own work area. When or if this change order gets approved, then that new work area will be available, number one, on the timesheets if I'm tracking that way, but also on the reporting for the job when I want to see how did we do by work area on this job. I'll be able to see, okay, that, and I'll know it's a change order. Okay, on that change we did, this is how we did versus the rest of the job as well. Again, it's not required to use a new work area on when you're adding items, but like I said, if it's something that's big enough that you want to be able to track relatively easily, nothing wrong with making a new work area for that. I'll click OK here, and again, it's going to add it, just like with an estimate over here. I can add other items if I want to add some plants on here as well. I can then click on specific plants. Again, how many plants would you like to add? Again, the normal, the normal workflow when I'm adding. So I want 10 plants. What work area? Yeah, I'm going into that new work area there. Again, I can add them as a kit if I'd like to as well. Again, I have the same functionality as I would when I'm doing it on the estimate. Hit OK. And again, if this size has been linked to the plant sizes, it's going to bring in labor also. So when I'm ready, again, I can add a change order. I can cancel this whole thing. I can close them out. There. I'll hit add a change order. So now I have my new work area. And again, you see, like if I need to correct it, so if I expand my work area, everything inside that work area is green, which again, that helps me when I'm looking at my work area, my change order. If I'm going to edit it or someone else is looking at it for editing, they can see, okay, these things are all new. They came from me using the Add New Items button on there as well. And again, you can see when I expand them, for example, if I expand the kit, I can adjust the kit quantity. I can adjust the quantity of items within the kit. I can remove the entire kit. I can also edit the kit. So again, very, very similar to the flow that you have when you are doing an estimate. So this work area here, I don't like the name. I can click on the pencil icon, change this work area, go over here. So notice I know it's change order number 1 on there as well. I can adjust the price. I can put, again, I can use a work area description here as well. Again, just like on the estimates. And again, by doing this, like I said, this is also available potentially when you generate the document for the customer to sign off on as well. So you can, again, very, very similar functionality when you're doing add new. Again, you can collapse it. You can take the trash can, you can delete it all. I can adjust my profit margin on here as well. Like if I have to, you have all that same kind of functionality when you're doing that. Now, a single change order does not, again, it does not restrict it. I'm only adding new items. Now, if you are just going to do one for new, that's great. That way it's fairly self-contained, no problem. But if you want to do a combination of we're adding some stuff and removing some other stuff for a substitution, that's also fine as well. So the price of the change order is going to be a combination of addition, deletion, substitution, quantity changes. It's going to come out to that amount on there as well. So for the other items, so the addition, like I said, the addition allows me to add things that were not there before. If I need to adjust anything that was already one, whether it was one from the original estimate, or if I already have approved change orders, I can now, once they get approved, I can now affect those, or I can now modify those items as well. So I'll go through delete. So again, these three, like I said, they all work in the same way, and that when I click on them, they are going to show me the current contract. This is the current contract. These are my work areas here as well. And I can expand them. I can see the kits. I can go into the individual items. So with the deletion, I can click on a kit name to delete the entire kit. I can click on an item within a kit to delete that particular item. Or in some cases, I can click on the trash can icon beside the work area to delete the entire work area as well. Again, if that's required. But depending on what you click on, then you can select it'll delete that thing only. So if I want to delete these 6 9-bark summer wines here, click on this item. And again, when you're deleting or substituting, it's always going to say, are you sure you want to delete the item name here? Say OK. So now on my item section, I have work area name changes. So it says it'll have the original work area name and the changes in there. So now in this case, I only have deletions. So when I go here, I see I have some deletions. Now, this plant installation labor here is blue because it's removing only a portion of the plant of the total plant installation. I may already have some plant installation labor from all my other plants, but this one is only taking out some of it. It's taking out all of that plant and the labor particularly associated with that one as well. So it's not doing a full removal of all the plant labor as well. That's useful when you have the sizes, the plant sizes linked to labor as well. So cost book items, like I said, it goes into here. In this work area, there's this change. And again, it reduces the price. And again, overall, my price now is a combination of, we have some addition, we have some deletion, that's my new price gets adjusted that way as well. Now, substitution works the same way. I'll leave this one on for now. I go to substitution. So again, basically, just like before, here is your current contract in the substitution window. There. Again, same thing. My work areas, I can expand it. Again, I don't have a deletion here, so I can't delete my work areas if I'd like to as well. But basically, I can select again. I can substitute an item one for one, or I can other things as well. But basically, the idea is that I'm taking out something in its entirety, and we're replacing it with something else on there as well. Now, just like I said before, that this is where you again Manage doesn't know what you're substituting specifically. Say I'm taking off this Jefferson red maple here, taking off that tree. Click on it. I just want to substitute. Now, like I said, this is doing a full deletion. If I had one, it'll take one. If I have three, it'll take all three away. Because I'm in the substitution transaction, my next step is going to be automatically going into the addition window. So it's gone right into the addition part of it. Now, this is where Manage is like, well, you took away a plant. It doesn't automatically put me on plants. It just knows you remove something. What would you like to add? So this is where, again, I was doing a tree, go to plants. You know, it won't stop me from doing other stuff in there as well, you know, inadvertently. So again, I can see I can replace it with a totally different one as well, or different size of the same one. I'll say, okay, I'll take this one here. I don't like that one. We'll go down to here, click on it, and again, how many do you want? Okay, I want one. It's going to go in that work area. Or I want two. You can add, again, you don't have to substitute the same quantity. You can substitute one of this for two of something else. That's fine. Manage, again, does not care about that on there as well. I'll just do a one for one in this case. Click OK. So again, over here, it's saying, okay, we're taking off that. We're adding this much. So the removal is already accounted for, and you can see that's going to be a little bit higher because I'm adding more than I'm taking away dollar-wise on there as well. And now, add to change order. So now here, I will have these items are together as well. So now they're purple because these three items are all linked together in that substitution. It's taken away one of these, added one of these, and again, because I have my my labor attached to my sizes, it's also added some plant labor again because of that plant as well in that size. So it's all, like I said, those three items are all linked together. Now, what I want to show you with those items is that there are trash cans for deletion to remove the items. I can remove this, it's fine, but because these are part of a substitution, if I remove any one of these three, Manage will tell me, because these are part of a package, if you remove one of them, all three of those things will come, all those linked items will come out on there as well. So in here, for example, when I did all this new, I can remove one of these things. That's fine, it's not a problem, it's independent. But here, because these are part of the substitution, if I try to remove one, and I'll remove the maple here, it'll say, again, this item is substitution. If you take it, all the other ones are going to come out as well. Are you sure? So I can hit cancel and nothing will happen. Or I'll say, no, I didn't want to do the substitution. So that way I don't have to remove three items. Do the one, click OK. Now they're now taken off of the change order as well. But again, that's the main difference substitution. Again, I could do delete, add, but this way it keeps them all linked together. Now, change quantity. Just to get that again, same idea. It's going to open up. Here is my change order. Here are my things that I can change. This is what is on my current contract here as well. So again, I can now edit, like I said, I can edit individual items, or I can edit the kit in itself, the kit quantity as well. So I need to change, if I want to change this entire kit, I can click on the kit name, and it's going to say, okay, change it by this kit. Now the quantity, which shows me, this is the existing quantity. So here, you don't, what you do is you put in the new quantity. You don't put the difference in here. So say I'm going up to 280. I just put 280, and again, it'll calculate the difference itself. I hit OK, and so now again, I have 8 more hours. It's added additional time because, again, based on the rounding of the kit, I chose to use kit rounding. All of these things are now there based on the quantity change of that kit. It knows it added 21 more square feet, and it did all the calculations based on that as well for that. Now, again, those items, like I said, these three are based on the contract, the current contract. before I'm going to go in here, I'm going to delete this one. Again, see the price again. You can change the price if you'd like. I'm going to just remove these ones for now. I'll take all these, like take the phase 1 changes. And again, if I have different changes in a different work area, they'll be under phase 2 changes. So that the change order uses the work area name and adds the word changes, and this one it adds new, and it puts the work area name and then changes in there as well. So I'm going to delete that. Are you sure? So the whole work area will go away. Again, you do individual items, you can do work areas to kits. It goes back to the original thing here. Now, I still haven't saved this. Again, ideally, you can save it as you're going as well. So there's really, again, I can't do anything to this change order yet. So I want to save it, and I'll kind of show you, once you've saved the change order once, what things you can now do to it now that it's saved on there. So I'll use the save and close function. Like I said, save, it'll work perfectly fine. It'll leave you where you are here on this change order screen. Save and close, we'll go back to the contracts tab of the job. So I want to show what that looks like now. So I go save and close. So again, just as a reminder, this change order is still pending. Nothing has been altered on my current contract. My invoices, my jobs, my billing, my job actuals, all 100% the same still. So I'm in the contracts tab still here. And now, basically, once you've saved it, in the drop-down list where it says current contract, now I will now have the current contract and the original contract and any change orders that we've listed. Now, like I said before, the date always gets added. The description shows up there. That's why I said if you have the description, it makes it simpler to find what you're looking for, to know what it is. The P in brackets means that this particular change order is pending, so it's not yet approved. Once we approve it, this change order will then, it'll say A for approved on there as well. Now, in the scenario here where if I have only pending change orders, so if I have 1 pending or 10 pending, if I have only pending change orders, no approved change orders there, then in this scenario, the original contract and the current contract are exactly the same on there as well. So if I were to go to original contract, again, in this case, because there are no pending change orders, the original contract is exactly the same as the current contract. Now, once I approve a single change order, whether I have other pending ones or not, then in that case, the current contract is updated, but the original contract obviously remains as it is. So regardless of how many change orders you've approved, the original contract is always there, so again, you can always look back and see, okay, this is what was on the original job that we had won when it was nested. It could be very small, it could be very large, but you always have that with the original contract link over here. But again, just so you know, when the no approved ones, original and current, are the same. Now, in the drop-down, I'm going to select the change order. So I do that again. It still leaves me on this screen here, but now what you'll notice that now this section is now the change order, and I can expand it here as well, and the color remains on this tab as well. I can't edit it from this tab. I can't make any changes from this view right over here, but you can definitely see, okay, these are new, these are substitutions. The color coding remains through this as well. At the bottom, again, you'll see if it was approved, no. But over here, again, I can make a brand new change order. Again, I can make another change order, even though this one's not approved. You can definitely make a different. This button now says edit. So again, because I'm looking at a change order that's not approved, that button says edit. If I want to get back to that screen where I was before, where I can edit the pricing, edit the quantities, make any substitutions, make any changes like that, I can use the edit button to get back there as well. Now, we also have, under the actions button, there are things I can do to this change order. Again, because I'm viewing the change order now, the actions button is available and I can get these things. If I'm on the edit screen, I can also get to the actions button from within the edit screen as well. Under the actions, I'll go over these, and some of these are pretty straightforward. Again, like I said, print work order. So this is the exact report. It's the same work order report that you can run from the estimate or from the job. No difference, same functionality, same layout. The biggest thing is that this was the work order specifically for this change order information. So it's only information from this change order. Again, like I said, it's the same. If I'm on the estimate, I can run the work order report for the estimate or for the job specifically. This one is just the information on this change order, and that's where, again, those that information will come out as well. Now I'll do this print change order one here. So print change order, this is one of the reports that we have for customer-facing documentation here. So this is it's based on a standard American Institute of Architects G701 form. It's a pretty standard change order type of contract on it as well. So again, there are a few options on here. Not a ton of options. There are some options. And again, it works like our normal reports do. When I open it up, I have some default values that are in here. If you want to change the default values, you can use the modify button, and then you can change the defaults and save it so that when you come here, you can have certain yes, no options selected, certain things clicked on. There's also it behaves the same as our normal reports in the main reporting area. So for example, do I want to show item details? I have yes or no choice. Let's say I will. But then within that, item types. I don't want to show material. I just want to show materials and plants, for example, just in this case. Okay, show that. Now, item prices, no. General conditions, no. Yes. So change or no. So this one here, show change or no's. That's a description field that I had typed into that was potentially customer facing. If I want to use it, I can click yes. If I still don't, I can turn it off and it won't work. It won't display. Now, when I go to yes again here, when I view this report, like I said, this is a fairly standard report. It's not a lot of formatting on here. It's just basic information to get, this is what we're changing. This is the price difference on there as well. So change order, this project here, this is our address. This is the change order number, for this date. The original contract date was this. This is the summary. This is the description of the change order here as well. This is all kind of standard, and they can check it off what's for. Here, again, this is where we have some flexibility. The change contract is changed as follows. Like I said, the summary, if we put a summary in, it goes first. If we list the items, they go here. So this whole section, again, if you don't want to show the description or that, you can turn both of those off, and this is not visible. But then we always have a section here where we summarize. Original price was this. Any previously approved change orders, so our current contract price prior to this here, this change order is going to do this. And again, this increase or decrease, that'll be changed depending on if it's a negative value, change or reducing the price, it'll say reduced or decreased on there. So it'll take that into consideration as well. So your new total overall price for the entire thing, if this is approved, will be that on there as well. And again, there's a spot for them to sign. There's our information here, and then the customer information can go here as well. And again, the payment was at 100% due, so this is the payment schedule for this particular change order. Now, again, because this is a report, we have our normal exporting functions here. I can go to PDF, I can go to Excel, I can go to Word. If everything looks good, PDF comes out nicely formatted. You can save it, you can print it, you can email it as well. If you want to do any changes, send it to Excel or Word, and you can do that as well. So, like I said, this one again, it's pretty basic, it's straightforward. It's just the standard, like I said, the American Institute of Architects G701 change order document. Again, that one, like I said, that one is coming from the view or the print change order function in there. If I go to the change order, that was the print change order. Now, we also have a print purchase order. So again, this is exactly like it's a purchase order report. I can do it for the job itself, or I can do it here for the change orders. This again will give me a purchase order report specifically for the items on this change order. Again, it's the same report, no different than the job one on there as well. Again, it only will include items on this change order. And if I have new work areas, I can specify work areas as well. If I click into an example, like I say, I can choose the date, the work order number. Again, what work areas? I only have one work area, and I can choose that. And what items do you want to see on here as well? Again, it's exact same options that you would see if you were running this at the job level. But again, the biggest difference here is that I'm only capturing items specifically on this change order. And again, you can run it, print it, PDF, and so on. Go back here. Now, the last three here. So view proposal is, again, it's a fairly recent addition that we've done here. if you want the document to get if it's big enough changes, you want to be like you want to have it explain a lot of what's going on. Like I said, you can use those work area notes, something like that. And if you want it to look a lot like your actual proposal document from your estimate, that's where this view proposal option would work. And again, if you click on it, if you've done an estimate, if you've done the proposal, there's really not a lot of difference in this. Again, it's like, what template would you like? So again, you can choose a template here, or again, you can make like a change order specific template here if you'd like. So you can have one that's already a change order, or you can say, no, I want to make a new one, and I can call it, change orders. And again, like I said, all of these options here, they have the exact same options that you can use on your proposal that you generate from the estimate as well. It's just, you want the logo, who's the contact going to be, what address am I going to show, primary address or the billing address, am I going to show the phone number, any email address on there as well. And again, here now it gets to be the same again like the other ones where work areas, yes, show the work area, show the price, show the description. You can turn any of these on or off as well, again, exactly like the estimate template. Show kit names, yes or no. Show kit descriptions, yeah, sure, it's there as well. You want to get into items, yes, I want to show some items as well. You want to show the price. Then do you want to show the payment schedule? Do you want to show the payment terms? And you can, a lot of flexibility here, what you can do. Salesperson title, so you can put salesperson here. Again, and so what happens, the salesperson of the job, their name will appear on here again, just like with the estimate. Agreement text, so we can put agree, if you want to put some text, if you leave this blank, this section will blank on the proposal as well. Now, a good part here as well is that how many signature lines? In the page footer, we want to have them to sign every page. One of the good parts about this, though, that can be very useful is that you can now use the headers and footers that we have in the settings as well. So if you have made headers and footers for the estimate, you can choose to use them or variations of them on this change order document as well. So again, I can go here, add the header, and I can choose, if I have a specific header, or I can make another one that is, this is our change order header as well. So you can manage them the same way as the other ones, and it makes it very useful. Again, for footers, I may already have terms and conditions. So I have payment information, conditions, or if I want to have a specific, okay, these are my change order terms and conditions, I can add them in here, or I can then, I'm going to have special terms and conditions for them on there as well. You can take it off, you don't want to use it, but you do have the ability to use these headers and footers, again, that you've already created for your estimates on this document. Again, save the template. So then when you generate this, again, you can do this proposal. This is basically, again, it's going to open up Word. It's just, again, if you've made an estimate before, the process is very similar here as well. Again, you raise your logo, customer information there as well. Again, the name, the summary here. So again, this is a commercial, this particular customer here. This is the summary that we put in there as well. This is that change order notes. This is the work area name. This is the work area description. I chose to show plants, and I can show all the summary here as well. And I can see, again, salesperson on this job. We have the changes, client signature. Here's a payment schedule. There's an initial every page on there. So again, you can make it look very, very similar to your proposal. And again, you can control some of those options as well in there with respect to, I want different headers, I want different footers, I want to have terms and conditions for my change orders, I want to show or hide. And so for a bigger one, if you want to be more descriptive, you can, in the work area, put a nice description of what exactly is changing in that work area, and it'll automatically appear on here on the work document. Now, I'm going to go back to the change order here. So that was the view proposal. Like I said, if you've done it, so now I'm inside the change order here. And again, I'm in the change order, change request here. The actions button still here. So again, I did view proposal. Now the last two, I have approve and delete. So the key here, once I approve a change order, it's now approved. I cannot back out of the approval like by deleting. I cannot delete approved change orders. Once you approve a change order, if you need to make changes, you then will make a subsequent change order that you can take those things off or take parts of it off on there as well. So once you approve a change order, all of those items, they become part of the current contract. They'll show up in job actuals. Once I approve it, again, when I make a new timesheet, it's now going to pick up these things so I can track against that information as well. Whether or not we're charging for the changes, because like Joe said, maybe this was our mistake thing, we forgot something, but I want to track that against the job specifically. So make a change order, no charge, but it's still going to have the items in the job log so that I can track against that as well. That's what the approval does. It will then make this, again, it starts affecting everything in the job as well. The deletion function is really for deleting pending change orders. So again, I can't, once it's approved, I cannot delete it, but if it's pending, I can delete it. Now, scenario, we could potentially make 2 change orders that are variations on work that we could do. We can present both change orders to them as well. They go with 1. So in that case, what we do, go into manage, we approve that change order. The best thing to do would be that pending change order that they're not going to do is to delete it, because when a change order is approved, like I said, the current contract is altered. There may be existing change orders that have information that really may no longer be correct. So if I try to approve older pending change orders, that's when I can run into problems, because it's saying, well, you're trying to do something, you're trying to delete something or adjust something that was already changed by a different change order. So, yeah, like I said, there's nothing wrong with leaving change orders pending, but if it's no longer needed, we're not doing that for sure. There's nothing wrong with deleting that change order, because then that way, when you do another one, it will then use the new current contract as well on there. So I'll approve this change order from here. And again, both approval and deletion require confirmation. Hit approve. Yes. So again, this job now, the current contract will now be different than the existing contract. So I'm in the contracts tab. Now I have, again, in my current contract, I now have my new work area. My new contract totals are different now. I have everything in here is now been updated. Go to my original contract, still what I had done initially. My current contract is now here. My change order, again, it's still there, A for approved. I can still open it. I can't edit it anymore. I can still view it, and I can no longer delete, and I can't reapprove it. I could still run reports from it, no problem. But what I can't do is I can't delete it, and I can't reapprove it, obviously. Now, the other thing, or another thing that happens, so if I go to my job actuals here, just to give you a quick example here. In my job actuals, again, if I had material, so now, again, the labor, whatever, in that work area now is in my job actuals as well for that. So I can now see what we've done so far. We estimated what have we done so far in that particular work area on the change order. So I can very useful for tracking. When I make a new timesheet for this job, it's going to add that work area onto so the guys, like they just automatically see, oh, there's a new, it's in there, and they can start tracking against that as well for that. The other part is when I go to the billing tab now, so the billing tab, as soon as you approve a change order, in the billing tab, there is, again, original contract and the approved change order. So the original contract, I can bill that, again, as normal here, but I also can then go to the change order, and then I can bill it as well. Now, I can bill it under milestone billing, or I can, again, just like with the original contract, I can change the billing style as long as I haven't billed anything yet on here. So I can change it here, but I can bill it. Now, as far as the billing goes, this is the same as the current contract. When I select ready for billing, then I can add it to an invoice. Now, if I have ready for billing on a change order and also on an original contract, like something, if I have, or multiple change orders selected, if multiple items are ready for billing on a single job, when I make an invoice, it's going to combine those onto a single invoice, regardless if it's one's original contract or change order. It'll explain what they are on the invoice, but if I have multiple items from a same job, when I bill, it'll put them onto a single invoice. If I don't want to do that, I can bill them individually as well. But like I said, the billing now, any approved change orders show up here, then I can bill them. If I'm billing by completion, here, percentage of completion, then again, you can do the whole change order, or you can bill it by work area. So if you have multiple work areas, you can bill it by work area completion as well. So it just depends on how you want to bill it. But just so you know, the billing, it will list it, again, each change will list individually, and then you can bill them. Again, they can be combined on a single invoice, just that all the ones are listed here as they're ready. Now, when I mark it ready, whether it's milestone billing or percentage of completion, doesn't matter. When I do that and I save it, again, it hasn't made anything else. This again, just like with my regular construction job, my regular original contract, when I go to my billing area here as well, again, that information will be available in the billable section here as well. And again, I don't know if at the top or not in there as well, but you can search for it. But it will be available, like I said, it will be available on the billables tab. So you can go to the billables tab, it'll say change order on it, milestone or percentage of completion, and then you can bill it out from there as well. So depending on what you're looking for, like I said, you can have, again, different views to find specifically what you're looking for on there as well. It's all, like I said, you can search directly in here also. You can create invoices, but basically, it's again, if it's a work order, and if it's a change order, on that as well, then again, you can, so change order, completion of project, milestone billing. I can build that as well. If I had other ones, like I said, if I had original contract or other change orders as well, I can build them all together and it'll put them all on the same invoice for that. So again, like I said, that part works the same. Just you make when you approve that change order, when that change order gets approved, then you can bill it as well. You don't want to forget about that part of the billing. You approve it, and then then it automatically shows up in the billing tab of the job. All right, so I think that is kind of what I wanted to go over for the standard, kind of like to talk about the change order process and kind of things to look at when you're doing. Like I said, again, pending change orders are fine. If you don't need them, it's just as well to delete them, because then, like I said, you're not tempted to approve them, because older change orders, like I said, as things get approved, those older change orders become less and less relevant because they may have things that have already been altered on them as well.
So Fabio, we do have one question.
Okay.
David's asking if you might be able to explain why you would add a kit for a change order. Instead of just adding items or removing items, why would you add a kit?
As a kit, right?
Yeah.
So basically, so in the change order here, so the idea, the main purpose of that is if you want everything to stay grouped together. So when I add a new item, when I add a plant, and this, like I said, this is irregardless, it doesn't matter, change orders or regular estimates. If I'm adding a single plant, it's fine. If I leave this, I'll do it both ways. If I do it this way, again, I'm going to add one plant, and it's going to bring in some labor. I'll add it in, I click OK, add the change order. So basically, I see it all in it kind of its own. There it is right there as well, right? If I wanted to put it as a kit, if I wanted to kind of keep these two things together, right? I don't want to have separate line items I want to keep them together as a kit, more for grouping purposes. If I do add new items for the plants, I'll do the same plant. This time I'll put add as kit. I'll keep it in the same quantity as well. Again, it's still going to add both things. When I add it to the change order now, instead of being in this cost book on its own, it now makes a kit with the plant in it, with the plant name, and that kit contains the plant and the labor specifically. So this kit contains, again, basically all the things in there as well. So if I kind of want to have this way, if I do it this way, if I have multiple plants and I keep adding them as a kit, each kit will have just the plant and the labor, just the plant and the labor for each of those things. If I add other plants just without as a kit, then it'll keep one labor item for the whole thing. So I'll add another plant here quickly. I'll add this one over here, and I'll just keep it in the same work area. Add one of these. Okay. Add change order. So now I have both of these here, but the labor is it's a shared labor. This labor is for all of the plants on here as well. If I add them as a kit, then I have the kit itself is self-contained for the plant and the labor for it specifically as well. And again, that's if you want to group them that way. It's more for grouping purpose than anything else. You're going to keep those things together.
Great. Thanks, Fabio. So if anyone else has any additional questions, feel free to email us or give us a call. You'll hit up our support team, support@dynascape.com, or by phone, it's 1-800-710-1900, and extension 1 gets you right to our support team. So please reach out if you do have any questions or unsure how something is supposed to work, or just some guidance. The session has been recorded, and here is the link where the first 2 sessions have been posted. This session, likely later today, will be posted to that link. So definitely go and check that out, and you can review it at your convenience. All future sessions will also be posted there as well. And don't forget to join us next week, Thursday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time for our 4th installment of the Manage360 Masterclass. And we're going to get a complete overview of reports. Thanks again for your time, and later today you should be able to access this recording. Thanks, Fabio. I appreciate all your expertise.
Thank you.